Okay. Assalamu alaikum everyone and good morning and good afternoon also. This is Sumaya Fahim, and I am an ECA Montessori trainer. I've been working in my training capacity since 3 years and have got around 20 years of experience in early years. Now, I'm going to keep on continuing my introduction, but I want everybody to mark their attendance. Just write down their name in the chat box and from where they belong to, and what is their field of capacity. Where are they working as? What are they working at? Are they teacher, parents, coordinator, principals? So that we have a complete attendance of people who are attending us. And also this will help me proceed bilingually if they are all Pakistani, or I have to switch on to English only. So please write down your introduction. Just write down your name, mention your names and the position you're working at and the place from where you have logged in. Okay, so in the first part of the course, like today's training, I'm going to give you a brief introduction about the course that I'm going to hold from July, the first week of July, and how we're going to go about that course. So I'm just reading the comments from chat box also. Okay, so Afshin, from which part of Pakistan are you logging in? I can see so many names over here, but very few are participating in the chat box. Please do participate in the chat box because this will help me also to go about how to proceed with the training sessions. Because like to give a session to parents is different than to give a session to teachers as well. Forum sir, if you can make me the host, I'm going to
Okay,
start the
that's fine. No
introduction.
worries. I'm just giving the host thingy to you. Yeah,
So
over
I
to
can start
you,
with the introduction of
Samira,
the
over to
course.
you.
Yeah, I just want to start with the introduction of the course that we are going to have in July. And this training session, we can wait for further like 10 minutes and then we'll start the training session for
Okay, that's
today.
fine. No worries. So just add whoever enters. You just admit them. Yeah.
I am disabling your waiting room. This is what I told you before so that everybody can enter.
Okay,
Okay.
that's fine. Cheers.
So let me just share the screen with you of the course introduction. Now, the purpose of this course is, if you can see, the title is Montessori Training with Inclusion. Now, to give a little bit background, since I've been working as, it's been 20 years I've been working in the capacity with dealing with children. So, um, like in my career, in the start of my career, I felt a real big gap between me and kids who were very difficult to handle. And I want to bridge that gap. जो कि it's like I hope everybody understands Urdu. Okay, so I want to bridge that gap between teachers and the children who are differently able as well as difficult to handle. Now, it doesn't mean that difficult to handle are only special needs kids. There are kids who are very hyperactive, but they are not differently able. But उनके साथ they're facing some problems at home like transitions and different types of things going on at home that makes them difficult to handle in class. So this course is purely designed. It's like a complete course when a teacher or anybody who passes this course, they are going to be a more or less a complete teacher in how to handle the kids who are differently able and who are with special needs as well as the normalized ones. And this training is mainly aimed for early years educators and those special needs educators who are dealing with children in early years, जो कि OT हैं, SLT हैं, and they have majority of kids coming to them in early years to 6 years. Sometimes it can take 8 years also. So, and parents of children who are either homeschooling the kids or they're thinking of a Montessori program for the kids. So, like an amalgamation of everything. The Montessori curriculum. If you talk about Montessori curriculum, it's from 3 to 6. It's not 3 to 6. It's from 0 to 18 years. But we, as Montessorians in school, we take the curriculum of 3 to 6. It includes around 8 areas. Before their basic areas: practical life, sensory, mathematics, and language, and the cultural subject aid along with these. Now, sensorial, mathematical, these are like more or less similar all over the world. Okay. Practical life exercises, you have to just understand the basics, understand the procedure, or what is the spirit of practical life exercises, and it differs from culture to culture, it differs from country to country. Same as with the language. The basic material is same, but somehow the other like, for example, in language, in English we have around 42 sounds. Then in Urdu we have more than 36 sounds. Okay, so we have to make use of the Montessori strategies used in the language according to the country we're living in. Similarly, geography, history, science, art, music, history, and drama. This all depends. They are basic, like they are not main areas, and these depend upon the geography, history, science, art, literature, and drama of the country or the culture we're living in. Okay, sorry to say, I just want to mention one thing. Please, if you can all mute your mic, because if you mute your mic, it will be easy for everybody to listen to me, and there will be less commotion between. So I'm also going to. Then let's start. Practical life curriculum. Now, those teachers who came on Montessori are present with us. They must know that they not only develop independence. Independence, self-esteem ही नहीं होता है. Only fine motor skills, learning through trial and error, and care for themselves, care for environment, respect for people. There's so many different things. It's like a small, a tiny human in the making. Okay. जो कि बहुत ही ideal होगा. That is the making. So practical life exercises जो हैं, it differs from culture to culture, country to country. They are not same. Yes, some of them are same. Like pouring, spooning, it happens everywhere, but the material is not same. ठीक है? So कहीं पे plastic use हो रहा होगा, तो कहीं पे melamine, glassware, so it is different. Now, if you talk about sensorial curriculum, like, what do you understand by sensory? So let's put a question over here. So I'm going to unmute everyone. You can ask also unmute. Yes. So what do you understand by sensorial? Now, since we are waiting for the other participants, so we are just buying time. So what do you understand by sensorial? What are the word sensory? Sensory se kya? Anybody?
If I'm audible, I would like to say sensory must be something related to our 5 senses, that is hearing, touching, and that like my five senses hote hain, it must be related to that, and involving those senses, we have to play and learning through those senses, like.
Yes, you're right. And what does multi-sensorial mean? Those participants who have joined us now, please mark your attendance, write your name in the chat box, and write down the country from where you have logged in, and also the position you're working at.
Sorry, I didn't get what she said.
I just want everybody who has joined us now to mark their attendance in the chat box by writing their names, and by writing your name and the country from where you have logged in.
Sorry.
And the country from where you have logged in, and what are you working as? Are you working as a teacher, a director, or whatever position you're working as?
Okay.
So again, I'm muting all. Yes, sensory curriculum in Montessori means involving all the five senses, and we have one more sense, which we are going to talk about later. So sensory discrimination, sensorially we discriminate between things. Now Montessori approach that I like the most is because there are two principles that I really adore the most. They go from simple to complex, and from concrete to abstract. So in sensory curriculum, mainly we are going from concrete to abstract, and abstraction will come later on in our math and our language exercise. So what does sensory curriculum teaches? It teaches gross motor skills, fine motor skill, eye-hand coordination. This is also if you talk about gross motor, fine motor, hand-eye, this is like an ongoing process from the practical art exercises. Now, mathematical curriculum understands that it starts from simple exercises to the complex one, from concrete to abstract concepts. And
could you just pin it? Could you just pin the screen? It's too small to see.
You cannot see the screen?
I can see, but it is too small. Could you just pin the screen?
How do I do that?
Zoom it or something like that, so that it becomes a little bit bigger in size.
Are you on laptop or mobile?
Sir, I am on mobile.
So that means it can't be.
No. So just rotate your screen. Rotate your screen to a vertical view.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. So in mathematics curriculum, we go from simple concepts to abstract, higher concepts, and from concrete to abstract. And we start from the concept of quantity, from the number rods, and move on to the number cards, which gives us symbols and then the relations. I'm just not going to go into detail because we're going to cover everything in detail in the Montessori course. It's just a brief overview. Now, language curriculum. Now, language is broken into oral and written languages. And oral starts from the birth site till 6 years of age when the child is in Montessori. And written starts from the pre-writing stage, pre-reading stage to the full complete writing and written stage. Then we in this phonics, letter recognition, till book reading is covered. But if I just say phonics, letter recognition, book reading, now it doesn't at all gives you a complete overview of the language curriculum, because it is a very, very vast curriculum. Cultural subjects and geographies, it promotes understanding of the physical world, our environment, people, culture, traditions, languages, flags, dresses, whatever comes under culture, everything is covered. And the beauty of Montessori is everything is given from concrete to abstract. Okay. The Montessori method combined with inclusion strategies for children with learning differences. Now, how does the Montessori method combine with the learning differences? Can you see my screen? Still? Is it noticeable? Visible?
No.
It's not visible?
Yes.
No.
Is it visible now?
Yes, it's visible.
Actually, I am changing window. I'm just changing a tab. That's why I was asking. Okay. So if we talk about Montessori method combined with inclusion strategies for children with learning differences, then we're going to say that a teacher is there in a Montessori who instills work habits, limit work choices, and choose work for children with learning differences until they can do for themselves. This is how they help the children. And then Montessori teacher, we're going to learn that how she is going to use additional strategies to help children with attention challenges as well. Now, it's not only part of the Montessorian to work with children in inclusion, but also if we partner with other specialists, that's the best part. It's like we want to make a dream team. So yes, we're going to cover how to make a dream team also a little bit, because if the teachers have this knowledge and the school owners also, so it would be very much easy for everyone to work together. Then in the Montessori method, which helps children with learning differences, is like the activities are broken down to simple steps, encouraging children to work out at each step, which is very important. Then there are techniques for developing attention. Everything is labeled, every action, everything is labeled by mouth as well as by sensorial tactile. Then I'm going to give a brief introduction of Orton Gillingham technique. Those teachers or educators who have joined us, who are related to special needs, who deal with them, they must have some, or maybe they have more awareness than me. And they can share with us also about they are called OG techniques. So I'm just going to do 2 OG techniques, and that's going to be it. It's related to language. I can see 3 participants have raised hand, but let me just finish with this slide and then I'm just going to get back to you. Okay. So now these are few examples. I've just mentioned 2 examples how the Montessori can help children with varying functionalities. Now, in a typical child in a Montessori can walk, hop, run, jump, skip, throw, catch, everything by the age of 6 years, provided he is given all these opportunities for the movement. But the child who is with varying exceptionalities, their body movements are very, very uncoordinated, and they are like, for example, they are just walking and their hand might go and hit somebody. They might trip without any object in front. So their body moves uncoordinated. Now, how Montessori strategies help them is like there are when we are bringing objects, materials from the shelf to the mat. This is how the children, they are practicing. They are given an opportunity to practice carrying objects of different weights, different textures, different fragility. And then walking on the line also give a chance to practice proper movement. Then fine motor. if you talk about fine motor, developmental of a typical child is they can cut on lines, cut out shapes, make corners, even write, proper grip. Now with the fine motor, with the child with varying exceptionalities have challenges maintaining patterns. They have those jerky movements. They sometimes they don't hold pencils properly. So now how does Montessori? Please, can you mute yourself? So yes. Now for eye-hand coordination, how do Montessori strategies help? Is we in the exercise of practical life, there are several different exercises that cater towards development of the typical tripod movement using of thumb, index finger, and the middle fingers. And then there are we have sensorially. In sensorial material, we have different types of material that caters towards development of tripod movement. The three-pincer movement is also called. And in pre-writing activities for the language, we have mechanisms. So it's like Montessori strategies, if followed properly, can also aid the children of varying exceptionalities. But however, there are exceptionalities in everywhere. So however, we need to partner with OT. We really need to partner with the SLC. Along with them, we are working together, and it does make a difference. And it will make a difference. So topics, there are lots and lots of different topics, but I would like to mention five topics that are particularly mentioned in this course. How Montessori practical life, mathematics, language, sensorial, they aid towards the additional support for early childhood. And Montessori applied, how Montessori can be applied to ASD, teaching phonics and sight words using Orton-Gillingham techniques and different methods of observation. So, we have come to the end of the orientation. Now we're going to start the session that was specially planned for today. Now, all those participants who have joined us late, kindly just write your names and the country from where you have logged in, and also what are you working as. So, so that I know how diversified our audience I have today. Now, Huma Naushad and Sobia Farhan, you have raised your hand. Do you want to say something? You can unmute yourself. Yes, Huma Naushad, you want to say something? Hello, Huma, you can hear me? Huma, if you can hear me, please. I've asked you to unmute yourself, and Sobia Farhan, you've raised your hand. You want to say something? Then please go ahead now. Okay, slide. Wait, yes, now you can unmute yourself. So anybody who want to ask anything, so either you can unmute yourself now, or we're going to have a question answer session at the end of the session after Fatima, she has also finished with her session. So
Sobia and Huma Naushad, you have raised your hand. Can you ask what you want to ask? Hello, can you hear me?
It might be possible that they have done it with it might be a mistake. Now, let me tell you one more thing, please, to all my participants. If you want, I'm going to keep on checking back time and again after a few of my slides. And if you have any questions, just raise your hand, or the second option is just type in the chat box. Because at the end of the session, I'm going to go through all the questions, and inshallah, we're going to answer everyone. At least I'm going to try answer everyone. And if there's something related to the course that is going to go in detail, then you might want to join the course with us. So I'm going to just lower your hands now. Lower hands. So let's start. So I hope everybody can see the slide. Please tell me if everybody can see the slide, because this is the time I can do something about it. Because when I start, it's like when my train starts, there's no
Yes,
stopping.
ma'am. It is very much visible.
Visible. Okay. Okay. Now, please again, if you would like to mute. I'm muting everyone, but this time I've allowed everyone to unmute themselves. Okay. So now let's move on, and yeah. So what you will learn from today's session. Now today, and for today's session, now okay, so people who are just typing in the chat box, just keep on typing in the chat box. I am going to read it after the session. Okay. So what you will learn from today's session now, how Montessori environment prepares a child for reading and writing, and successful application of Montessori language methods on children with learning disabilities. So we can also say, well, I don't like to say learning, we should say differently able children, because they are part of us. So let's start. Now, this is, I have made it in points about the oral and language written curriculum. So what are we going to learn in this is like, now Montessori environment prepares a child for reading and writing. It's not only reading and writing, but since we are focusing on language, so let me just have the pleasure of saying reading and writing. The language curriculum, now this language curriculum consists of different types of activities for oral language, for pre-writing, writing, pre-reading, and reading. And everything goes hand in hand. But we must understand this all is going to be covered in details in the course. But we must understand that everything goes hand in hand. For example, you start the oral language, it doesn't mean that you cannot go to pre-reading or reading skills. For oral language, you can start the pre-writing. With pre-writing, you can also start reading. Now, those teachers who belong to school nursery environment, they must be aware of many of these. Then we can say oral language precedes written language. First of all, oral language comes into play, and then the written language. So now, if we talk about vocabulary, how can we enhance vocabulary? Everything in the classroom is labeled. Every action is labeled. The functions, the attributes of every material are labeled. Let's talk about the oral language. It is divided into vocabulary. Then the vocabulary will go into uses in sentences and then conversation. Now, how do vocabulary is like, as I have told you before, labeling of each and every material. Even so, when I was working in a school, I remember that we used to label everything, even windows, doors, the doorknob, the switches, everything, the duster, the board, everything we used to label, because children, they have this visual memory also. So before we have spoken about multi-sensory approaches. So Montessori is all about multi-sensory. Everything is about multi-sensory approach. So children, they are when they hear something, they look, they watch, they repeat. So all the senses are into play. So we label each and everything. Then this I'm going to cover in pre-period lessons. So how they are brought into use in sentences. Then in conversation, we daily have news periods and sound. So how does three-period lesson work? Three-period lesson is attaching words to perception. Now, what is perception? When a child enters a Montessori environment, a child is if we have 25 children, just imagine 25 children coming from 25 different families. Every family have a different background, different culture, different tradition. So the teacher is looking at 25 different traditions in a classroom every morning, every day. So now, when a child enters the room, his mind is full of different vocabulary, but they are not labeled. So a teacher's job is to label all those different thoughts into appropriate categories. Now, three-period lesson, three-period lesson is like a very big, it's a big topic. It's a concept, but on a simpler side, we can say it's just identity. It's like identity, recognition, and reward. So how do you teach? You teach different objects showing this is a pen, this is a bottle, this is something. Then among all these three things, we call them show me a pen, show me a bottle, show me. Okay. So this is a word identity. You are identifying things. Show me a is like recognition. Now the child is going to recognize the vocabulary with the object. Now the child is showing memory labeling. What does the child remember? What is the pen? What is the glass? The third comes recall. This is from the memory itself. The teacher just points out to the thing and says what is it. So this is basically a three-period lesson that can be applied to many different things, many different parts of teach. Now, for additional therapeutic strategies, the first period. Okay. Now, this is all oral. Three-period lesson is usually for normalized children. It is all oral. It's done orally. It is done usually after child is being presented with the sounds. The child is being presented with any Montessori activity. So practical. So this is done immediately after the. It is advisable to do after an activity has been carried out. Now, when we are working with emotionally intelligent children, so we use a flashcard like we are writing, because we are using a multi-sensory way of teaching words. The children, they visually see and hear the spoken word. How to see the spoken word is, you tell the child this is a beaker. Write the spelling of a beaker. Let the child see the spelling of a beaker, because their mind, they work in different, there's the right side of the brain, there's the left side of the brain, and both the brains, they are not working in coordination. So we have to make them in coordination. So we are going to label everything. It's not only just seeing the object, this is a glass, just write down. So the child has a visual memory of the glass itself as well as is on the system. Then to help a child with language differences, the teacher can name all the objects and pieces in a presentation and ask the child for attributes. Now this is also used in ABA therapy. Now, if my introduction was incomplete, I think I am an ABA therapist as well. So I worked with children with ASD, and I have worked as a therapist, and we have worked on how to increase vocabulary and spoken language. I worked on that. So, like when I started working on that, this did not. I was not so much enlightened at that time, so I didn't that this Montessori language can also be is like an ABA. So now we're going to see how. For example, in a coding activity, after the presentation, immediately after the presentation, a teacher names the object and its attributes. Now, for the normalized children, it is not necessary it just comes to them, and it's not like it's for a big and small. If we talk about a big and small jug, it's like just like to go in like one go, you tell them this is big, this is small, and everybody they're going to grasp the concept. But for the special needs, we have to be very particular about when we are using 3-period lesson. And see, this is how we're going to use 3-period lesson as our strategy. Now, pouring activity in Excel practical life, we are going to use this activity. The teacher has done this activity, and now she's telling the child, this is a picture. Now, this is not only one time. This is a picture. This is a picture. What is this? This is a picture. This is how the ABA technique works. That you have to repeat the answer along with the child, and you have to go backward chaining. Like, this is a picture. The child is going to say, and then the teacher, what is this? The child says picture. The teacher then emphasizes, this is a picture. Until and unless the child covers this, he will not go forward. This is a picture. Then the picture is blue. Now the word picture is being used with the attribute blue. The picture is blue. What color is the picture? This is blue. The picture is small. Now see, this is how for differently able children, we have to go very specifically in language. It's just not just giving those children anything and telling them to define. They don't have those words. So we are the linkers between the words and the object. Okay, now sound game. So sound game, now every environment has a different approach of using sound game. Now, this is the approach I just I liked it a lot. That we can have two baskets or two boxes. In one box, we will have those objects that are phonetically different. They're the sounds that we are going to teach them. They are phonetically different. Their formation is different, and we are going to use them to make CVC words. And then there's another empty basket or tray that a teacher uses to collect things from the environment on daily basis. It is not necessarily the things that are small. It can be things that the teacher has planned for the activities of that day. So see, it's such a beautiful concept that how sound game, just imagine how sound game can comply towards teaching sensorial names of objects. Everything is so interrelated to each other. Then we have the first step is initial sounds. I'm going to show you a video. There's different videos, but I just noticed this one that how she is using sound game for the things from the environment. Let's see. Yeah, I hope everybody can see this.
Book. Chain.
But see, this teacher here is using material, the second basket, the second one, and she's using the material all from the classroom.
Fabric. Penguins. Stair. Jar.
So you notice, first the teacher tells the children the names of objects. Now she is using different materials. She is using things from the environment as well as like there's a penguin, as you can see over there. So using material from the environment as well as other materials. She has combined the two sound boxes. And now you see there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 children over here, and 4 are ready for the sound game. The other four, they are doing some else activity. So Montessori is like making a child so much independent that a child can choose his own activity and work at his own rug or table. And for the additional needs children, the teacher, she chooses the activity, but later on, she makes sure after some time, it's not going to happen, this magic is not going to happen in a day or a month. It might take 6 months. After 6 months, the child will be able to choose from 1 to 3 activities.
Square, cone, cube, juice. I spy with my little eye, Celine, something on the mat that starts with a B. I spy with my little eye, Aviana, something on the mat that starts with a J. I spy with my little eye, Destiny, something on the mat that starts with a F. I spy with my little eye, Janaya, something on the mat that starts with a Ch.
Okay, now one thing you must be observing that she is taking names of the children, but that is not important. It depends upon the age and the stage of the game you're on. This is the initial stage, and yes, perhaps this must be the first level, and she must be aware that these children are aware of the sounds that, and that's why she is calling out the names of children. You can also do it in a small group, and you don't need to call out the names. Just say something special begins with P, and the child just grasps it. Any child can do that.
I spy with my little eye, Aviana, something on the mat. Not Aviana, Celine, something on the mat that starts with a S.
Help me make it. Help me make it.
Stare. I spy with my little eye, Aviana, something on the mat that starts with a P. That's a square. Something on the mat that starts with a P. Penguins.
Now, do you notice how this girl Aviana, she is making mistakes, but the teacher, she did not said no. She just prompted her. Something special begins with P until she took grab hold of the pencil. Now, calling out names is also very important when you know that everybody is not going to participate. So this is how, now first she called the name of Aviana before, then Aviana did not respond it, so she passed on to the other girl sitting beside, and then again she came back to Aviana. So see, this is also in certain times we use this technique to cover everyone, the shy ones especially, that they don't point out to them that you're not responding, just casually mention the name, then the child doesn't respond, just move on. Again, come back to the child. This will go on until the child responds, and the child do respond. Sometimes not in a day, not in 2 days, but they do respond.
I spy with my little eye, Destiny, something on the map that starts with a Q. I spy with my little eye.
Okay, so this was a video to show initial sounds. Then comes the ending sounds. And the ending sounds, there's no video for that. But ending sound, it's similar. And over there, you say, I spy middle as something special begins with F, ends with frame. So the child, if the object is frame, the child is going to, now, in the ending sounds, you can have objects starting with same beginning sounds. For example, you can have a small fan and a frame. So both starts with F, but ends with different ending sounds. Then middle sounds, level 3 is middle sounds. In this, you start with the beginning and the ending sound, and then ask children, do you hear any other sound? Try to take words with very contrasting middle sound, and that are very clear to hear. Then segmenting sound is a very, very later stage. It comes when the child has been introduced to the language. And the child has done his sandpaper letters, has done the tracing of metal insets, have done with the green boards, and now started on movable alphabet. So over here, segmenting sounds come into play because over here the child is breaking the words into different segments. Now I have a small exercise. I'm going to share a link of a Padlet, and this exercise I want to share because now you might the course teachers might have this question: which initial sounds to begin with? So I'm not going to name any phonics system. There are so many phonics systems which can be incorporated with the Montessori approach. But you must understand what phonic sounds to introduce first, and that would make it easier for the children to start reading as well. So let me just share the Padlet. Now, before sharing, let me tell you what to do, because I don't want anybody to make mistakes. Now, there are two different grids. In one grid, each one has, I think, 8 letters, and one grid is in sequence from A to H, I think. And the other grid have sounds which are not in sequence. So I want you to make use of those grids. Don't create a new one, and just keep on adding words. At the end of the session, we're going to see how many words, and we're not going to count the repeated ones, so try not to repeat the words. So we're going to see how many different words you have formed with grid 1, and how many number of words you have formed with grid 2. So at the end of the session, you yourself as audience, you're going to decide which phonics system you're going to follow. Not phonics system, it's actually, we introduced contrasting sounds, a few contrasting sounds along with vowels. But let's see how both systems work. So this is the Padlet I mentioned over here. So you can keep on adding into the Padlet. I'll just share the screen. So for example, I'll just do one. I can make word like sat. And over here, I can make word like that. So this is how you can keep on adding words. You can add several words to it. See how many words you can make, and try to use only one comment line. I've used this, like for example, I've used that. I could have made like around 30 words with this, and the other one I could have made around 15 words with that. So just try to make as many words as you can, and if you can just mention your name also, or just log into the Padlet. Okay, so let's resume the presentation. Anybody want to say something? I heard that. Yeah. Everybody has got the Padlet link? Dr. Nasri, you want to say something?
Oh, ma'am, I was talking about the words, just sat, jantin. It was there, so I repeated that word.
It's okay. Just ignore my words. So everybody can make their own list. Everybody can make their own list. It's okay. But I want everybody to do both the Padlets, like both the things, both the columns. And then you yourself will decide which style to follow. which technique to follow. So let's.
It's not possible this via mobile. I'm on mobile. How can
Okay, you can do it after I finish. There's Azan going on, so I'm going to take a 2-3 minutes break. Until then, I'll just read the chats. So sorry for that. Okay, let's get back. I'm sorry to have stopped over here because usually when Azan goes on, I just keep quiet. We should all do that. Okay, so additional therapeutic strategies, multisensory teaching. Montessori is all about multisensory teaching because we're using all our all the senses are being involved, especially in sensorial material. All the senses, your tactile sense, your auditory sense, your gustatory sense, your sense of touch, everything is being used. Now, for learning, primary pathways to brain are visual, auditory, tactile, and kinesthetic approach. Now, what do you understand by kinesthetic? Visual is how we see, auditory is we hear, tactile is we touch, kinesthetic is movement. Now, those educators who are dealing with kids with additional needs, they must know how kinesthetic approach plays an important role in the learning development of a child. Now, multisensory approach is used for children with learning and attention issues. It's not only for learning and attention issues, but also the normalized children. We use the same approach because Montessori is all about multisensory, whatever work you're doing. Now, we use a mirror in Orton Gillingham technique for phonological awareness. Now, phonological awareness, what do you understand by this? Anybody would like to share phonological awareness?
It's about sounds.
Yes, it's about sound. Phonological awareness is about sound. Phonology, sound. So it's awareness of sound. Now, then we use a mirror. So we use a mirror because over here, we want to show the children. Now, this approach you can try at your home. Just you can do it just after this session. Just go in front of the mirror, look at the mirror and see how you are saying the sound. Now, if you look at me, if I say
articulation.
Yes. If I say b,
lips, two lips are meeting then. B.
If I say, see, so this is, it's like, this is related to movement. If you can say kinesthetic movement. This is related to movement, whatever we are. So if we take a mirror just in front of the child and even in ourselves and say the sound, let the child see the sound. So just imagine the child is visually looking at the sound we pronounce. So how great impact that is going over here. The child is listening.
Sense is stimulated.
Yeah, he's listening. He's visually. See, and when the child is making we are tracing the sandpaper letter. We allow, like in Montessori approach, we use sandpaper letter technique to introduce the sound. Now for these children, we use large movement. Large, because the movement that involves the whole arm that is used. With the normalized children, we are using sandpaper. We are tracing in the sand tray. So this movement, see this, this movement. larger movements. Use large boards for them. And we're going to just discuss it later on in our NTM technique. So large movements. Okay. So this, which involves the rotation of arms, the shoulder muscle. Okay. So yeah. So there are several Orton-Gillingham techniques. You have to choose which technique suits your class, suits your child. Then we come towards written language. Written language is again divided into pre-writing, writing, then pre-reading and reading. Pre-writing, the hand is prepared and it starts from the practical life exercises, then to the sensorial, and then the writing. Now, hand preparation is important. After that comes the pre-writing preparation, that is the metal sets. And what are metal sets? They are set of metal frames with removable centers, and they are shape of various geometric shapes. In tracing the shape and eventually shading the internal part of the design, the child practices all the central movements he will use in writing, because these shapes, they are of various sides. They are of various shapes also. Some are curvilinear, some have corners. So everything, the metal sets. While I can talk days and days on Montessori material. Writing for writing those sounds which are in circular movement, writing those sounds which have corners in it. So metal set is like, it's a very important tool. It's not just a plaything. It's not just for preparation of art only. It's preparation for writing also. He traces the letter. Now, when the child is, this is after metal sets comes the tracing of centripetal letters. As the child traces centripetal letters, he repeats the names and sounds of the letter. The child is feeling the shape with his finger. His arm muscles are being used. He sees the letter and hears the sound. Now, just imagine how many senses are being used over here. We can just have 3 senses are being used. For just a simple exercise, 3 senses are being used. This is a multi-sensory procedure that is utilized by Montessori children, which are in a regular school. Now, if we talk about additional strategies for children, now we use Orton-Gillingham technique. Now, this is one quote from a book. Technique. This defines what is how OG techniques can help develop language. Our technique is to teach the sound of the letters and build these letter sounds into words like bricks into a wall. Just imagine bricks into a wall. A technique is based upon the close association of visual, auditory, and kinesthetic elements. Kinesthetic means movement, and kinesthetic elements forming what is called the language triangle. Each new phonogram, each new sound, each new word is taught by processes which involve association between the visual, auditory, and kinesthetic records on the brain. That is the important thing. Now, for the children with additional needs, we use a mirror. This is just what I've told you. This is an extension to the scientific letter. Another technique is MTCM modeling. Okay. Now, I'll do a presentation on it. I'm just with you. For example, I'm going to pre-write. I write the sound. I will introduce the sound K. So I'm going to write a big K. I have modeled this. Now, those who are using a mobile can very easily annotate on the screen. I have allowed you to annotate. Trace the sound. Now we are using the model MTCM. M, model, I have done my part. T, tracing, the child will do the part. So please trace on this sound. I'm waiting. It's an open invitation to use this technique. Anyone? If nobody is doing, I'm doing it from mobile. Anybody who would like to participate, just please do so. And I've allowed annotation.
What is the option for annotation? How can we annotate?
Yeah, there's an option of annotation. Just move the cursor above the screen.
Yes. I didn't find any option here. Otherwise, I would have done it now.
I've allowed annotation.
Only host can share. Only host can share in this meeting. I don't know what more chat. Nothing is there, no?
Khurram Sahab, can you help me in this regard?
We don't have an option here so that we
yes,
can
I can see that. Okay, I can see that there's no option. So, Khurram Sahab, if you can help me out in this regard, because I have
asked to share the screen and we can annotate that on share.
Yes, I have allowed.
Just a second. Actually, the thing is, we can't annotate.
Now let's check again.
Let me check again.
Now yes, you can annotate.
No, it's supposed to.
Yeah, it's good now. Yes.
Okay. So now MTCM. Yes. No. Don't copy right now. No. We are just modeling the tracing. Okay. So now what do? We use different colors. I'm going to ask. Okay, would you like to trace with the yellow color now? Yes. And the child traces. No. You have to trace on my sound. This is, see, now this was, now the approach is MTCM. I'll write it over here, MTCM. This is an extension
modeling,
to
tracing, copying, and
modeling. This is modeling, tracing, copying, and memory. So modeling means that the teacher is going to say the sound. The teacher is going to sound. No, you don't need to write away. I'll write.
Okay.
Modeling,
tracing,
trace,
copy, memory, memorize. Copy, memory.
So model I've written. Now I'm going to use a mirror also. Now the mirror is used when a child, now this technique is used for children with additional needs, with learning disability. You can say ADHD or dyslexic child. So the teacher is going to write the sound on the board. And the child is going to trace on it. Would you like to trace with the green color? So this is how we're going to use 5 to 6 colors the teacher is going to use the child. Okay. Now, if the child fails to say the sound and say something else, yes, that is not being surprises. It is not surprising if a child say maybe. Then you will just take hold of the mirror, put in front of you and say k, and put in front of the child and let him say k. And then with the big arm movement, trace a sound k in the air let the child trace a sound k in the air, and then let the child trace a sound k on the board. See, these are few techniques that you have to follow to make this recognition in the mind. Now comes the copy part. This is it. Copy part is you ask the child to write over here. Would you like to copy this? Would one of you like to copy sound over here? Now you will copy. Yes. See? And this also is going to use with different colors. Would you like to write with another color? The child is going to write another color. Now what I'm going to do, the memory option. Memory option is, can you write the k sound? Can you write a k sound with a red color? Very good, excellent. Good job, very nice. Now, if somebody fails to write with a k, then what happens? You again go back to the mirror technique, do the k sound, let the child trace in the air, and do this. So see how many movements are being involved. The fine motor movement are involved. The large motor movement is being involved. See, such a multi-sensory approach for sound symbol linkage. Okay. So everybody understand this till here?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So in this, what now sandpaper itself is a multi-sensory approach. We see the child sees, feel small motor movement, hears the sound, and feel the vocal mechanism. For her, the child, you will keep your hand on the mouth of the child and her. So the child will feel the air, which sounds like the. Let the child feel the vocal cords on the neck and say the. So the vocal cords being vibrating, the child feels the vocal mechanism. This is a multisensory approach. Now, in similar approach is used with the OG technique, but a little bit different. Over there, we also work on the gross motor movement. Gross motor, not exactly gross motor, it's like small motor, but it's like we're using the arms as well, and we're using the MTCM model.
लाइट गई हुई है समझ रही हूँ लाइट गई हुई है क्या बोल रही है
हमारी Okay, so MTCM is used for sound symbol linkages. Then comes MTM. What is MTM? Learning new regular words. The MTM is a technique for learning new regular words. Now, everything is not phonetical. Everything is not phonetical. Now, MTCM model is specifically used for symbols, sound symbol linkages, where you are linking the sound and the symbol together. Now, when you are using the MTM model, the MTM model is model trace memory. This is used to teach children sight words. Sight words or irregular words that cannot be deciphered phonetically. Now, I'll give you let's have an example of this one also. We're using MTC approach. MTM. MTM is called trace, model trace memory. Model trace Now, we're going to do the word. Okay, children. For example, I'm talking to a child. Okay, now let's do our word. Usually, we use cursive. You can also use print, but it's like more advisable because when you're writing cursive, the hand is in a very fluid movement. So that's why you use cursive. Now take a mirror in front of the child and say the. The child also say the same the. How what are the sounds in the. Let the child trace. The child traces on. Come on. Anybody who would like to trace on it? Anybody would like to trace with the red color? Come on. Trace on the model. Trace on the model. The red color. And not here. Okay, very good, excellent. So what have we written here over here? The. Now, trace it with a okay. Now trace it with the blue color. Very nice. So you know the word the. What have we traced? The. Okay. Now let's see if you can. Okay. Now okay. Now let's see if you can. Now let's see you can write the word the. Okay, come on. Uzma, would you like to write the word the? The. Yes, very good. Excellent. Okay. So, okay, now have you wondered why the C has been removed from this model? Empty, this approach, model trace, memory is there only. Okay, let's, you can unmute yourself. Okay, now you can unmute yourself also. And I want you to think why when we are using the irregular words, why the C has been removed. Anybody can guess? But when we were doing the symbol sound linkages, we used the MTCM approach. But when we were doing the sight word, the puzzle word approach, we used the MTM model. Now we did not use C because if you use the C copy thing, the child will always look at the word, come back to the sound. Look at the word, come back to the sound. Look at the word and come back to the sound. So this is going to hinder in memorization of the word. So here we are taking the word as the whole sound, the word as a whole picture. It's like you're asking the child to draw a tree. So you're not asking the child to draw leaves and fruits, and you're just asking the child to draw a tree. This is why we don't use a copy of them. Yeah, that was the end of today's session. So anybody would like to ask something, please, you're more than welcome to ask. And let's talk about the Padlet also. Let me just share the Padlet. Okay, so what do you think? Which approach is best? This one, in which you are using lots of phonic sounds and vowels and vowels. Same thing. See, A, E, I, 3 vowels and all consonants. A, I, O. They're all consonants and 3 vowels. So anybody could come forward and just speak about this. Which approach is the best to use in the class to introduce sounds? Like when we are doing sentable letters, we can either go from a, b, k, we can do that also. We're using this approach. While using this approach, we can introduce with any sound first. We can use first, a, first, j, first. Yeah. So anybody would like to come forward and just throw some light on it? Please, I have allowed everyone to unmute yourself.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yes, I teach the vowels like telling a story about alphabets family and telling they are the special childs of alphabet family because they are specially treated and we treat them with an N. And other children are consonant, they are very normally treated and they are not very proud of themselves. So they are treated with only A.
Okay. No.
Anne is telling about articles, I think.
Yes.
And.
Yes,
Yeah.
we are not talking about articles. We are talking about which approach to introduce the sound should we use. Should we go from the first letter of the alphabet A till Z, or should we?
Ma'am, the first one, phonics, the first break wall.
Yes, Fatima, would you like to answer? I can see you have raised your hand. Kada, Tania, please, I've allowed everybody to unmute.
Ma'am,
hello?
it should be from phonics. Hello?
Yes.
The first one is more better. The first one. The phonics.
Which one is the first one? Okay. Okay, yes. What about you, Sada?
It makes more.
Tanya and Fatima. Now, who is the speaker? Please just say out your name. Also, I cannot see the pictures.
Okay, I'm Tania Khan, and I think that the first brick wall is the more better. It makes more words, and it learns the child so fastly to make words rather than the next one, the next word.
Yes, yes, you're right. And what do you see? What characteristics can you see over here? Like, why this combination? We could have chosen some other combination as well, but why this combination?
Ma'am, you're asking about the first one?
Yes, I'm asking about the first one. If that combination has been chosen, now don't think that it's floppy phonics, jolly phonics, letter line, whatever.
Yes.
Just think about the logic. Just think about things. See, these phonic systems are usually followed in all the schools. Okay. Now, just think of the logic behind the phonic system. Anybody can guess? मेरी आवाज clear नहीं आ रही है? Busta, Zohair, everybody can hear me clearly. I think there's no other
जी clear है.
Suji ma'am, what about the child who can't speak due to some neurological
Yes. Now,
problem?
for that, we need to combine with, we need to partner with different specialists. That is why I said in the beginning before that it's not only the duty of a Montessori directress. It also depends. It's also a partnership, a collaborative partnership between different specialists working together in early years, but they should all be on the same line. If the Montessori director is working with children, she should also know certain approaches. She should, like for example, she should know the OG techniques. She should know various how to bring in variation in the Montessori activities that are being shown to the children. Okay, so she should be able to do that, and then only she can work with the differently abled or difficult children, because difficult children are certainly not differently abled. बस होते हैं, there are some मसले मसाइल going on in their homes. That's why when they come to school, they are pouring it out in the school only. So the teacher should be well equipped with all those weapons of teaching that she can handle these children as well. And as part of the OT and the SLP or the special needs therapist, anyone who are working with children in special needs, they should be aware of the Montessori techniques. So that they can make their practice more effective with these children. Okay, now let me tell you. The purpose of using this approach was, this combination of sounds was, if you look at the sounds again, let me just share the screen. If you look at the sounds again, they are all contrasting. The formation is contrasting. In the beginning, we start with these sounds. It is not necessarily that you start with this sound. There is another reason to use this combination. Now, I use a similar combination, not this one. When I'm teaching, I don't use this combination. More or less the same, but it is a bit different. Now, I use it according to my needs. Now, I want to teach children 2-letter words: at, in, ought. These are the basic ones that I start with because they have. So when I start the reading sequence, so it's my personal experience that I use at, in, and ought. These are the first 3 combination of 2-letter words. Now to start with these words, I start with the children who are around 3 years of age. When they're 3.5, I start with them. So, but before starting these 3-letter words, we have to do some preparation. So the preparation is, what I do is I write at, and then I write all the combination of at words. I write all the combination of in words. I write all the combination of ought words. Then I select the common consonants that are used for making these words. And then I use those first along with a, e, and o. So it is not just to blindly follow any phonic system. You should understand the logic behind a phonic system. Every system has their own techniques. If you're following Jolly Phonics, they have their own techniques, they have their own books, everything of their own. If you're following Floppy Phonics, they have their own. So they are following according to their system. But the logic is they're using contrasting sounds along with few vowels. If they use, and through this approach, when you move forward, when they are moving towards the reading, just look at the reading and look at the phonics, compare and you will see the resemblance that in the letters that they are making, they are using and the phonics they are introducing It is the same sequence. So it is not very complicated. It's not rocket science, just for you to think about it. This is how they are making billions. Yes. So any other questions? Any other? Nobody has asked me anything as yet. Would you like to ask anything? Anything related to this today's session? And other, if you want to ask, if it is not related to today's session, I'm going to say just join the course. For me, I'm also learning every single day. I'm learning now. Say, while I was preparing for this presentation, I was going through my notes, and it was like, oh, why did I skip this point? This point was also there. I didn't see this point before. So it's like every day I'm also learning. So every day you people are learning. It's no matter what the age you are in. Every day we are learning. So anybody would like to say something now? Yes, Tanya, Sadaf, I have lowered your hand because I think you have asked.
Yeah, hello?
Yes.
Yeah, I just want to ask, okay, you say the strays like this and also the pen, but how can we teach a child to hold the pen properly? Because usually I have seen, because my daughter also, she holds the pen very badly, like she cannot write, like from the tip she holds the pen. So this seems very difficult for her to write the words. So
and what is her age?
She's 5.5.
5.5. That means that she there's a term called sensitive period. Sensitive period is a certain time in a child's life when development of certain movement is more more likable to happen if provided with the environment or the tools to work with. So whatever was being, when the child was in the Montessori or in any setting or was about to learn, so she, instead of preparing her hand for writing, she must have been immediately exposed to writing, holding a pencil tool, holding a writing tool in the hand. Now, if you want to work on a writing, you should start with simple exercises like pegging. Okay, pegging, you're using this pincer movement, and then you can also use beans. You can use kidney beans in a bowl and tell her to pick up those kidney beans and transfer to another bowl. So when this movement, so you have to now, the time for this movement has, like passed a lot. So you need to work hard on it. So you need to make her practice every day. And then as soon, in a month or so, she's going to have the script. When she has the script, another thing, for this is a tissue. Okay, a tissue. Hold it in. Like this. This is the palm of your daughter. Keep the tissue here. Tell her to grasp the tissue with these. But this also she needs to practice for a few days. Tell her to do this every day. Maybe you can do it for 5 days. On the 5th day, you will see that when you tell her to grasp the tissue with 2 fingers, she's going to do this. Now look at the miracle. Tell her to hold a pencil. What happens? Tell her this tissue should not fall. Hold the pencil. Now she is going to hold it like this. This is the proper grip. And you're not teaching her to make this grip. The children, they learn themselves. You just have to show them the direction. You have shown the direction. This is the direction you have given her, and she will hold the pencil. But if you force her to do it both at the same time, this is not effective at all. Let her learn. See, every day, try. Okay, hold the pencil with 2 fingers. Now, the day when she holds them independently herself, without you telling her to close these 2 fingers, that day give her the tool for writing. I hope this answers your question. Somebody, Afshin has asked, ma'am, I want to ask you whatever you told us. Yes, definitely. Today, what I have told you is just, it's like a nutshell. It's simply a few techniques. But inshallah, in the course, we're going to go into details about each and everything. This was just recap because I cannot disclose everything over here. It will take a lot of time to do that. Yeah, anybody else? We have 31 participants. Anybody would like to answer? Ask any question? Okay, no. So let me ask you one more thing. Now, when you ask a child in the MTCM approach, when you ask a child to write a sound, which is circular, or you ask a child, or you're doing the k sound, then what happens? The child doesn't stop writing like this and this. How do you make the child stop over there? Then you're going to tell the child different stories. You start your car from here, go down the hill and up here. Make points. Let the child trace on the points. And you do one sound, do this activity. Do two sounds, then again do the activity. When you're doing two sounds at the same time, you can see you should have a pouch or envelope for each child, and the sound they keep on doing, just insert into that pouch. And every time and every day, see, you have to follow this every single day, because if you don't do it for 2 to 3 days, the child is going to forget. Because you are the directors, you are the linkage between the left and the right brain. Anybody else who wants to ask something? Or now we have another session that was recording. Yes, I don't know. Farah, would you like to answer? Will the recording be available for this session? Who's mute? Oh, sorry.
Hello, can you, ma'am, I can now save now. So what is the question? Can you repeat it, please?
Somebody asked if this, she joined in late. So will this recording be available online?
Yes, it will do. I will send you the link of our school page, Facebook page. You can have this on our Facebook page.
Okay. Okay, Param Saab, I'm done with my part, so I'm just going to make you the host and the screen is over to you.
Okay, cheers. Thank you very much for your brilliant class. Thank you very much, Somaya. Let me take hostage back.
Yes.
Just a second.
Yeah, I cannot see your name. Can you just raise your hand?
I'm just taking back. Yeah.
Can you raise your hand so I can see?
Yes, Tanya. Do you want to ask something?
And please, if you can just give us a brief feedback in the chat box about the session that you attended. That would be very much helpful for me, because if there's any flaw, anything, I told you I'm still learning. And every new session with my kids as well, I'm learning. So please,
Okay, ma'am.
feedback.
Yes, go on.
Ma'am, can you hear me?
Yes.
Ma'am, I have a question that if there is a child in my class, right? They have a different mother tongue language in their home, ठीक है? यानी कि वो totally different language बोलते हैं उनकी background, and then अब जब आप क्लास में बच्चों को ऐसे हैंडल करते हो, आप उनको डेली बेसिस पे लर्न करवाते हो साउंड्स, यू हैव अ वेरी लिमिटेड टाइम कि आपको अपना करिकुलम भी जो है वो कंप्लीट करवाना होता है, डिफरेंट सब्जेक्ट्स आप लेके चल रहे होते हैं, बिकॉज आई एम अ टीचर ऑफ प्ले ग्रुप, सो we have a pictorial reader in English, we have a pictorial reader in Urdu books, sight reading words, we have verb books, we use Jolly Phonics, Urdu, math, all different kind of activities, lots of things. तो ऐसे चिल्ड्रन जो टोटली डिफरेंट मदर लैंग्वेज से बिलोंग करते हैं, उनको कैसे हम अपने मतलब पेनिट्रेट करें इन सब चीज़ों के अंदर. लाइक आई हैव अ स्टूडेंट सराइकी लैंग्वेज बैकग्राउंड, अब यहाँ हम कोशिश करते हैं उस पर वर्कआउट करते हैं, बट व्हेन ही बैक होम वो टोटली अगले दिन आते हैं, सब कुछ दिमाग से रिमूव हुआ हुआ होता है, बिल्कुल एक अलग चीज होती है. तो ऐसे बच्चों के साथ किस तरीके से हैंडल करना चाहिए?
देखिए, अभी एक मैंने आपको अप्रोच बताई थी कि जब हम प्री पीरियड लेसन के थ्रू, ठीक है, अच्छा ऐसे बच्चों के लिए ना आपने मेंटेन करना है इसकी बुक, लॉग बुक, कि आपने यू हैव टू मेक अ प्लान, ठीक है. जब एक्टिविटी जब हम लेटर साउंड इंट्रोड्यूस करवाते हैं, तो व्हाट हैपेंस इज कि हम उसकी वर्कशीट पे साथ साथ तैयार करते हैं. वी प्रिपेयर डिफरेंट एक्टिविटीज. इट्स नॉट, अब जैसे देखो फॉर एग्जांपल यू आर इंट्रोड्यूसिंग सर्टेन साउंड, कुछ साउंड आपने इंट्रोड्यूस करवाया, ठीक है, तो साउंड, उन्हीं साउंड्स को लेके यू गो टू द ये 10 पेपर लेटर. फिर उन्हीं, अगर आपने देखा यू हैव ऑलरेडी डन 3 लेटर वर्ड्स, जैसे क भी करा दिया, ए भी करा दिया, च भी करा दिया, स भी करा दिया, देन यू मूव ऑन टू द मूवेबल अल्फाबेट्स, ठीक है. So you have to make a plan for these children, such children, and you have to label during 3 period lesson. 3 period lesson में क्या है कि you are showing different objects. This is a ball. This is a ball. This is a ball. What is this? This is a ball. What is this? This is a ball. What is this? This is a ball. ठीक है. फिर where's the ball? Touch करके बताओ. One object. ठीक है. Take another object. A cup. Contrasting sound, b, ball, cup. Look at my formation, b, formation different है, contrast है. Take the word. This is a ball. This is a cat. Ball, cat, ball. What is this? The child has to answer ball correctly. नहीं किया, go back to the first period. This is a ball. What is this? This is a ball. Where is the ball? The child does it. तो क्या हो रहा है? Memory, recognition, visual, hearing, every senses is coming. तो क्या हो रहा है? You have to make a plan for the child. Plans बनाते हैं. For every children, see, हम Montessori में there is a road map. There is a very big, हम जो बनाते हैं for 25 kids, we make for 25 kids. So for all the activities, there is a road map how the child is doing that.
Right, ma'am. Done.
Anybody else?
Anybody who got any question, you are welcome.
Okay, somebody asked, kindly share curriculum and per day planner. See, curriculum and planner, this cannot be shared. The reason being, every school, every setting has their own planner, has their own curriculum. Now, I can share a tip, a technique that I usually teach my mothers. Like they ask me, हम क्या पढ़ाएं बच्चों को? ABCD करा दिया, क्या करें? So I tell them, like there is a chaining, एक term है. If somebody belongs to the special education field, तो उनको पता होगा chaining, backward chaining and forward chaining. Backward chaining होती है कि you take, you think अच्छा, ये मैथ्स का सम है, ठीक है? Now, how to reach this goal? So, उससे एक एक step नीचे जाते. What happens? You reach the first one. Then there is a forward chaining method where you are standing on the first step, numbers or sounds. You think what will happen after this? Okay, 2-letter word, then 3-letter word, then sight word, then sentence, then comprehension, then reading comprehension. So see, this is how you proceed. Now, if we talk about yes, Faram, you want to say something?
No.
I can keep on babbling for till 2 o'clock because I know 2 o'clock is Fatma's time. So just give me that time for me. So see, backward chaining and forward chaining. So we use this is the technique used to teach different skills, life skills to children. But I use this technique to make myself do. See, everybody has some goals. For me, I don't follow any school. I think, okay, for my playgroup children, I have kept a goal that I'm going to take, by the end of the year, the child is going to know numbers to 15. So I'm going to chunk it down into months. Then, see, this is how we make the curriculum. This is how we go about. So there is no rocket science and there is no nothing. And what should a child? See, parents are, मेरा बच्चा तो 4 साल का हो गया, तो क्या आना चाहिए? नहीं, this is not the thing. You have to follow the child. You have to see where a child is standing. उसको alphabets आ गए, consonants आ गए, vowels आ गए. Start blending them into words. Let the child start reading. Introduce the child. Once the child has learned a few like the at series, the in series, the odd word series, introduce the child to the common sight words like to, the, go, no. These are common sight words. And then also start making combination of phrases. See, there is a whole lot of world to it. It's not like कि मेरा बच्चा 4 साल का है तो मेरे बच्चे को क्या आता है क्या नहीं आता है मेरा बच्चा पीछे नहीं है ऐसा नहीं है. You have to follow your child. You have to see where your child stands. Okay, your child knows numbers. Go on to the number name. Go on to the shapes. Now the child knows the shapes. Okay, go on to the 3D shapes. The child knows the 3D shapes. Let the child count the shapes. The child counts the shapes. Tell the child about the vertices. Tell the child about the angles. So there is no end to learning. So really, it's like before. See, it might be 10 years back. I might also have the same thinking. बच्चा 4 साल का हो तो क्या आना चाहिए? नहीं, this is not the thing. You have to follow the child. So anybody else? And roadmap. Because just me said roadmap. Okay. Roadmap is a curriculum. Roadmap is actually curriculum as well as planner, progress report. Everything comes. Roadmap is a very big term. जिसके अंदर बहुत सारी चीजें आ जाती हैं.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
मैम जो भी हम कोर्स लेंगे जो पढ़ेंगे क्लासेस लेंगे इज देयर एनी एग्जाम फॉर दैट?
यस, एग्जाम भी होगा.
यस, डेफिनेटली एग्जाम्स भी हैं और असल में सिंध टेक्निकल बोर्ड जो है वो भी आपका एग्जाम लेंगे, तो बी अवेयर ऑफ दैट एज वेल.
दैट इज द माय मेन क्वेश्चन. मुझे यही पूछना था कि सिंध टेक्निकल बोर्ड भी कोई एग्जाम अलग से लेगा हमारा?
जी, वो लेंगे, बिल्कुल लेंगे.
तो उसके लिए कोई और रजिस्ट्रेशन होगी या ये जो हम इसी में
नहीं, इसी में कवर्ड होंगे हम. अगर कोई भी चीज नहीं आती है तो वो हम आपको यानी कि इंटीमेट कर देंगे बाद में. अगर कोई नई चीज आती है, अभी तो यही चलेगा. अगर कोई फॉर्म्स वगैरह वो फिल करवाते हैं या उस तरीके से करवाते हैं तो वो हम आपको बता देंगे उसी वक्त.
ओके. और ये जो जैसे वेबसाइट वगैरह पे इसका सर्टिफिकेट हमें मिलेगा या फिर हम लोग नॉर्मली उसको प्रिंट कर सकते हैं या कोई स्पेसिफिक एरिया आप लोग बताएंगे जहाँ से हमें रिसीव करना हो सर्टिफिकेट?
जी, अभी ये जो वर्कशॉप है इसका भी सर्टिफिकेट मिलेगा आप लोगों को जो पार्टिसिपेंट्स हैं.
अच्छा, नॉर्मली वेबसाइट पे या ईमेल के थ्रू हमें मिलेगा और नॉर्मली हम उनको प्रिंट आउट कर सकते हैं?
जी बिल्कुल, हम आपको पीडीएफ फाइल में सेंड कर देंगे तो आप उसको प्रिंट आउट कर सकते हैं. जी मैम, कुछ बोल रही थी आप?
जी, मैं आपको कह रही थी कि आपको रोड मैप है that I gave you.
Yes. Let me share you the roadmap. Just a second. I have to dug it in.
Because yes, so, like people have been asking me how they are going to go online or on-site कैसे होगा. So on-site we're going to have 4 days training. 3 days is online for everyone. चाहे वो on-site participants हैं, चाहे वो online participants हैं, everybody is going to have 3 days online. We have kept it this way because हालात का नहीं पता, ठीक है. ऐसा होता है कि 1 week we are going to school, वीकेंड में पता चलता है कि चलो भाई लॉकडाउन हो गया, ठीक है. एंड देन वी हैव टू रीशेड्यूल एवरीथिंग, चलो भागम दौड़ ये. So to avoid everything, we have planned the course in such a way that 3 days are your online lectures, online activities will be shown, everything online. Okay. The 4th day is going to be the Thursday. That is Thursday is going to be a practical day for those participants who want to come to the campus. Okay. So, and if you are
Miss Umayya, please say again.
Okay. If you can share the roadmap, अगर आप share कर सकते हैं तो I might be able to extend.
Ma'am, I don't understand what you are saying.
मैं आपको बताती हूँ. अभी खुरम साहब एक रोडमैप शेयर करेंगे कोर्स के लिए, ठीक है.
ना नाम से बताई थे ना वना हर कोई टॉपिक बताया जे कैसे प्लानर में टॉपिक व्हाट कम्स बिफोर बड़ा मुश्किल सा करना, व्हाट कम्स आफ्टर बड़ा मुश्किल सा करना, बैकवर्ड काउंटिंग याद रखी थी वना सजे जेको वंदी भी वने इन सब टॉपिक था है वही मिनटन में एडी
Can you make the host please? I will show the course content as well.
PG start slides use जेको टॉपिक भी ॿुधायो असां प्लानर में हुया सब ये मेथड वो ॿुधाए ये मुझे थी भई.
Okay. Let me just share the course content with you. We have 10 minutes more. Let me just open it.
I think I have shared the image of the roadmap. Can you check if it is so?
No, I'll just share it again.
Okay, that's
okay.
Fine. Okay.
Now, see, this is now somebody who was talking about the roadmap. This is a roadmap for us because without a roadmap, हम खो जाते हैं कि हमें क्या कराना है. It's a very big field. Okay. Now, so in July, we are going to cover introduction to Montessori philosophy and environment and practical life exercises. Okay. Then planes of development, absorbent mind, tendency and sensitive field. See, this is very important. These topics are very important because once you understand how a child's mind develops, आप जब उसको समझोगे तो रेमेडी दोगे ना. अब डॉक्टर क्या करता है? Tell you ये टेस्ट कराओ, वो टेस्ट कराओ, वो टेस्ट कराओ. So these are all the tests: absorbent mind test, tendencies test, sensitive test. We need to understand these tests, and then we're going to work more effectively on children. Then coming back to then August, we're going to do all practical life exercises, and our file is going to start. And in August, in July, there are only 3 days working, and in August, we're going to start the 4th day with practical life exercises, जहाँ पे आके practice कर सकते हैं, ठीक है. Then September, we're going to do all practical life exercises, and I'm also going to tell you about additional support for early childhood that is given through practical life exercises, okay. Then in October, we're going to introduce sensory curriculum along with the materials, 3-period lessons, sensorial exercise about visual and auditory senses. November, we're going to do tactile, olfactory, gustatory, and we're going to cover some of the sensorial curriculum with the additional support, topics. Then December, we're going to start our oral language, free writing, written language, and reading. And this is going to continue till January. And over here also, we're going to include the topic that we have covered today. We're going to include that in detail in January. Then February, maths curriculum will open. And then maths curriculum, Montessori mathematics, and additional support that is required. April, cultural subjects. May is important because it covers general topics about child development and how Montessori methods can be used to enhance learning in children with learning exceptional needs. Then June, that is my favorite part. You know, I am also a crafter at heart. I love crafting things. I'm going to share. I have made a catalog. So, Khurram Sahab, I'm going to share the catalog with you, and you can share it on the website. And this is going to be like a small gift from me.
Okay, thank you.
There are lots of teaching aids that teachers especially can make, and they are all the teaching aids that I have made during my teaching career. So what I did, I compiled them all and made a booklet out of it. It has all the aims and prerequisites. It's a very detailed booklet. I'm not going to show it right now. It's going to be a surprise, a good surprise for you, and it's really going to help you out. And but in June, we are going to cover how to make them. So it's going to be more like a practical sort of thing. So I'm going to give you a list of things that we're going to have for June, and then I'm going to show you how to build teaching aids. Then Montessori applied to ADHD, delayed attention, and Montessori applied to ADHD. So we're going to discuss these two topics, and it's going to be a wrap up. Then if it in the other part, so over here, this is how we're going to go. You enroll and pay fee. Classes will be 3 days online and 1 day on site. Now, those participants who are just online, you can share with us the name of your city and the nearby school that you have in your vicinity. We are going to request that school to allow you to come to their school for observation and using of their practical their material if they have any. So we're going to try for that, and hopefully we are hopeful that schools usually don't say no to this, and we're going to issue a letter for this.
Ma'am, one question from my side. What about the international students?
Okay, we are going to record everything. We're going to record the presentations also, and international students can also, if they have any schools or nurseries in their vicinity, they can give us their names and contacts, and we can write them a letter asking permission if they are allowed to come to the school for observation and for the use of their material.
Okay,
usually schools don't refuse to that, because when I was working in administration, I never refused any school to that.
Cheers, thank you.
Then in case of an online candidate, training videos or material assignment will be sent in WhatsApp group. We're just going to see if we're going to have WhatsApp groups, or maybe we're going to have Google Classroom. We're going to use them. So you're going to watch videos in their sequential order and complete the assignments. Now, by training videos, it doesn't mean that every session recorded, you can have benefit of that. Every session will be online and it will be recorded, but you will have more benefit if you attend that session. Because every session will have their attendance. If you fail to make 90% attendance, your certificate will be withheld. Because you should have at least 90% attendance. And yes, the training videos will be the recorded session for those who have some excuses, general excuses, who have genuine excuses to not to attend the live session. Then go through the referred site. Sometime I'm going to give you reading material as well, and I'm going to give you refer to sites to visit and do your assignment. The course instructor can be contacted on the assigned date anytime during the day for assistance. I'm going to give you assigned dates also, that for practical life exercise I'm available for different time period. You can contact me. In case of residents in Karachi, you will be allotted a day to come and practice working with the material. This is what I mentioned above. Online participants will be issued a letter to present to the school and do the teaching practice in the city of residence. This is also I mentioned. Having submitted all the assignments, final exams will be taken online and on-site. The file submitted will be checked and returned, and then monthly diplomas are awarded. So this is how we're going to go about it. I hope I've answered all the questions, and it's 2 o'clock, and for answer you can give it to Fatima. I'm done. Everybody, have I answered everyone's question? Is there any query? Please write down the chat box. We can answer after the class.
Cheers. Thank you very much, Sumaya ma'am. Now you can have a 5 minutes break and come back with the new host.
Thank you very much, Sumaya. Lovely.
Fatma, can we have like a 4 minutes break? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Cheers. Thank you.
Very interesting. Well done. Very interesting. Interesting. Yo-ho-ho.
Excuse me, can I ask one question, please?
Yes, you can.
सर मिस सुमैया ने ये बात बताई कि हम नियरेस्ट स्कूल या जो भी हमारे हो हम मालूम कर लें ये प्रैक्टिकल वेबसाइट के लिए कि किसी तरह हम वहां जाके प्रैक्टिकल कर लें.
जी जी.
तो सर हाउ कैन वी नो दैट इन एनी काइंड ऑफ स्कूल वी कैन विजिट?
मॉन्टेसरी, जो भी मॉन्टेसरी आपके करीब में होगा वो आप कर सकती हैं
सर. बट हमें
और
डिटेल्स
आप हमें उनका एड्रेस या ईमेल एड्रेस या फोन नंबर दे देंगी तो हम उनसे बात कर लेंगे कि आपको जो है वो प्रैक्टिकल करने की इजाजत दे दें. अगर नहीं होता तो फिर हम उसका ऑल्टरनेटिव भी हम देखेंगे, उसका ऑल्टरनेटिव फिर हम निकालेंगे. इट्स नो प्रॉब्लम फॉर अस.
अस्सलाम वालेकुम. मैं थोड़ा सा इंटरप्ट कर रही हूँ. हेलो, सुन रहे हैं मुझे?
जी सोबीमा जी.
वालेकुम अस्सलाम. हाँ, ये मैं बोल रही थी कि इसका इस तरीके से होगा कि अगर आप जैसे आप सऊदी अरब से हो ना, तो जैसे वहां से अगर आप आती हो यहाँ पे वेकेशंस में, तो यहाँ पे स्कूल में सारा मटेरियल मौजूद है जो हमारी साइट है. ठीक है, तो आप आके यहाँ पे आराम से जो है यहाँ पे सारी प्रैक्टिस कर सकती हैं. ठीक है.
ओके.
हेलो,
ये भी सही.
अफशीन हो ना?
जी जी मैम अफशीन हूँ.
अफशीन सही है. ठीक है अफशीन. तो इस तरीके से हो सकता है कि आप अगर वेकेशंस में यहाँ पाकिस्तान में हैं तो आप इधर भी आके ये कर सकती हैं. ठीक है.
ठीक है. थैंक यू मैम. सही.
Sorry to keep you waiting, everybody. I was just having some technical problems. My name is Fatima Jallo, and today I'm going to be your trainer about early years educator. Can you hear me? Okay. Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Sorry to keep you waiting. My name is Fatima Jallo. It's nice to see you all. Today I will be the one being your early years trainer. It's nice to see you all on board. And if you have any questions, you can just ask me, or I will leave 15 minutes after the session so that you could ask me whatever you want to ask me. You could write down any questions you have, or you could just raise your hands and let me know what you want to ask, and I will help you in the best way I can. Today, our learning goals will be the importance of play and how to promote play. Okay, let me just get my screen, see it. Okay. You can put yourself in mute and put your phone on silence and raise your hands to answer any question or ask me anything you want to ask me. Today we will be talking about the importance of play and how to enable play environments. Anybody know what enabling means by any chance? You can unmute yourself. Right. Enabling means like if you are thinking about using an aid to help a child. For example, young ones, we used to aid them with like to help them to learn how to drink. So instead of using the whole cup, we use a beaker on the cup to help them learn how to drink. Just like being like all the parents out there and all of us out there, if we have kids, and how to help our kids to learn how to sit. For instance, supporting them with lots of lovely cushions around so that they will not fall until they are ready to sit on their own. So it is very important when we in an early years to make sure that when we are teaching the kids, we enable them to play properly. And there are different types of play environments. So when we think of play environments, what do we think about? We think about, oh, you know, it's nice just to play out, or, you know, they could play anyhow or anywhere. No, we have 4 different types of play environment. We have physical environment. And when we think about physical environment as well, we always think mostly about the indoors and outdoors. But the most important thing is how to make it very stimulating and attractive to engage lots of children so that they will learn. Because play is the most important thing in an early years, because play is a child's work, and that's how they learn and develop. So when we're thinking about the play and physical environment, we always have, it's mainly about the resources, you know, like what you have, what the age, is it age appropriate? Is it stimulating? Is it presentable? Because if you want to attract kids to play, you have to make it very stimulating and very challenging for them. If not, they will just get bored and lose interest. Does anybody want to ask me any question, or anybody don't understand? So I could repeat it again. You can unmute yourself if you want to ask me any questions.
So is this like you have told us that is it physical or social, or can you repeat it again, please?
About play.
Yes, please.
About the physical environment. The physical environment is basically naturally what we really think of when we are creating and enabling an environment. It is literally the resources, like the furniture, the materials, the equipment we provide, and how we set it up to design and create a place to play. So basically, it's all about the resources and the furnitures. So if we get that right, then we could make a very creative play area to stimulate kids' education. And there is another, the other second one is the social environment. You know, when we talk about the social environment, it is about helping a child to feel like they really belong in a setting, as well as giving them the chances to socialize with others. For example, if you think about social environment, this will start with the relationship between the teacher or the practitioner or the key worker in an early years. Because the first kind of social contact, it will involve them being able to play with the teacher or the social worker, the carer, and they have special contact. It will involve them being able to play with them and have a secure base as they go off to play with other children and come back to them if they need to. So if there is no proper relationship with, where is my picture going? Sorry. Okay. Sorry, my picture was gone a few minutes ago. I don't know what happened. So I'm sorry about that. If they are involved in a, like for instance, if you are a teacher and the child start a new transition into your settings or into your class, you need to have that social connection with that person in order for the child to feel safe and want to stay in your settings, because once their parents drop them off, you are there like a second parent, and they need that safe base in order for them to go and play and come back to you whenever they feel hurt, injured, or have a fight with their friends. So the social environment is very important to create play and promote and enable play. The other one, the third one, is the cultural environment. The cultural environment is really important in terms of their sense of belonging. Precisely, we look at what positive images in the environment we are in. This particularly is looking how to really consider and how to really consider the environment and culture of that child's home. Whether or not this is in our settings or our home being a nanny, for example, like the fabric we use, the utensils we use, the language we use, the home environment should reflect in some aspect of our settings, so that we need perhaps to get some utensils from in the home corner so that it will reflect the child's home. Do a bit of research about the child's language, about the child's fabrics. For instance, if we have like a black person coming in a settings, it is very nice to have like a black and white doll, you know, a black African attires, or the language of the black person coming into that settings, you know, and or the flag of that person's country, the food they eat, and the books in their language to make them feel like they belong. For instance, in my settings, we have books from in Urdu, in Hindu, so the Asian or the African people who normally attend our settings, they feel like, wow, oh, this book, my dad read that book for me. So they feel like they belong and they settle very quickly, and it helps them to play as well. So it is very important when teaching kids or in a settings, or if you are a nanny in your home, to make sure that the cultural environment is intact before even the child begin in your settings or comes to your home, as that makes them feel, that makes them feel settled and support their emotional well-being. When we talk, the next one will be the personal attributes. But before I move forward, does anybody wants to ask me any questions, or if they don't understand anything, can they ask me again so I could repeat it? Okay, thank you. The other one that people don't consider as something that promotes the environment is the personal attributes. Personal attributes is very, very vital in an early years to help encourage play. When we talk about personal attributes, people keep thinking, oh, what is personal attributes? But personal attributes is something that makes like us the most expensive resources in the center. Because as we are the teachers, the practitioners, we need to have a very good positive personal attributes. For example, how we convey yourself, how you convey yourself as a team. You are working to create positive atmosphere. If there are personalities, crosses, or issues going on within the team, but as you put the personal issues aside and work collaboratively together to create a happy, positive environment for the children, they will be able to learn and play better than when you don't sort out your difference quickly, not letting things fester, you just let it fester. Nobody talks to each other. Nobody wants to do this. I'm not going to help out. And then gossiping about other people. But going around dealing with all those problems yourself face to face in early days before you let those problems build up and fester the atmosphere. That is created through the poor working relationship and can have a detrimental effects on a child's emotional well-being and sense of belonging in the settings or in your home, and stop the children from being able to access those play opportunities. So that's why these four environments helps enable a child to learn and play. So we have to be very, 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 very careful every time we walk into those doors in our settings or children walks into our homes. We need to make sure that we have those four attributes with us all the time, especially our problems. Once we coming to the settings or the children coming to us, let's just forget about all the problems we may have at home, because it's natural. It's natural that we do have problems every time, you know, because life is not perfect where everything goes peachy. So it's very important that we put that aside in order to help the children to play. And make sure that we have this, like for instance, I've just put that picture in there. Make sure that they all have equal rights. You have black, white, Asian, disabled, able, deaf, hard hearing, all of them given the same opportunity, because every child's matter and their well-being is very paramount. And we have to make sure that as we are their voice, they can't defend themselves. We have to always make sure that that duty of care that is entrusted to us, we keep doing it all the time. I am talking too much. I just hope you understand what I'm saying. And if you don't, please do ask me a question. I don't mind going back.
Mama, the bus, कौन सी class लेनी है या नहीं लेनी है?
Amreen?
Is he talking to me?
I don't know.
Again, please, miss, if you're talking to me, do you want me to clarify anything?
Is there any question?
Okay, I'll ask you one question. For instance, how would you enable your child to learn how to sit?
It's very difficult for us.
Yeah, but it is very easy as well. If you're trying to teach your child how to sit, Do you just put the child on the floor when he or she is just 4 months old? What do you do?
I think we have to divert their attention towards playing or something.
Yes, because if a child, yeah, the child, if that is enabling play, you know, if the child doesn't sit, the child will not able to play. How do you support the child to sit to play? Where are the mothers? Where are my sisters there? Please help me out here.
We can help them through different activity.
Well done. That is a good idea. Anything else? Anybody else? Help me out, my sisters, because I know that you know this very well. You do it every day without even realizing it.
Ma'am, Faryal Hussain says by telling stories or activities.
Oh, that is a good one. But for instance, how do you help a child who can't sit to enable them to able to play? That is a good one. But before reading the child a story, can you tell me how do you make them enable to sit?
Can I tell?
Yes, you tell.
Yeah, putting cushions around the baby so he can sit. It will help him to sit.
Well done. That's a good idea, because everybody, well, you know, for instance, in Africa, when you want to help your child to sit, we have this box, and then we put lots of cushion around it.
Yeah.
That's enabling the child to support them until they can sit properly. Then we take out all those stuff. That's enabling the child to able to learn how to sit, and still like like enabling the child to learn how to drink. Because when you give a child like a 5-6 months old baby or a toddler to drink in a cup, all they do is just spill it everywhere. So that's why we mothers, we buy the cup, the beaker ones, so that they could just suck it, and then until they reach in one, and then we take it out and then let the child drink on the cups by himself. So we always try to help. So that's, in this case, that's what we're gonna do in a play environment, trying to help the child to able to like scaffold them, help them, just like we build in a house, you know, help them in the beginning. When you build in a house, you have lots of scaffolding to try and hold the house. So we keep supporting them, supporting them, supporting them. Once we reach in a stage where we know that they can do it by themselves, we start reducing the support. We start reducing the support. We start reducing the support until they can do it by themselves. You see them finish sitting and they start standing up, holding onto the furnitures, holding onto the furnitures. One day you walk, just turn your back, they take their 4 steps, you know. So that is how we have to do with the children in early years as well. We have to be their support system. We have to help them to able to understand play, because play is a child's work, and that's how they learn. That's how they learn how to behave, how to socialize, how to take turns, how to control their emotions. Any questions for me, my sisters and brothers, if you're there? I will take anything. Anything that you don't understand, let me know. We're talking about importance of play and how to promote play in a setting, or if you are a nanny in your home, how to help children to learn through play.
So you have told us 3 things which create an environment. First is physical, then is social, and the other one is cultural. Is that
and
so?
Personal attributes as well, like your behaviors and what you bring inside the settings, like you yourself, the qualities that you have in order to help the child have a have a positive environment to enable them to play. It's just like having, like they said that when a mother is sad, the child always feel the sadness of the mother. So if the teacher or the practitioner is not happy, or come to the settings crying, oh, I lost my grandma, crying, all the kids will start crying because they think it's normal, or they will feel bad. So That's why it's very important, the last one, the personal attributes, that you leave your problems, leave the difference you have, and always consider that every child's matter, and their welfare is very paramount. And if their welfare is not looked after, they will not able to learn or play. Anybody wants to ask me anything, sisters and brothers?
Cheers, thank you very much.
Okay, the third one, what we will learn, what we are going to learn after that is the characteristic of enabling play environment, and how to enable play environment meet the age, stage, and the needs of children. There are 5 different characteristics of enabling an environment. We do it all the time. We don't even realize it. As a mom, as a father, as a teacher, as a nanny, you know, as an uncle, as an aunt. We do it all the time without realizing it. This is just like putting it on pen and paper. We need to create opportunities to explore the natural world. When I say the natural world, it means nature. Opportunities to create indoors and outdoors through play significantly improves all aspects of the child development, especially their physical development, cognitive development, social and emotional development, creativity, and lots more, which is mainly the reason why we need to explore these opportunities of the natural world. Children should be given opportunities to explore and experience it. For example, in my settings, we explore outdoor plants for picking and eating. Use other trees, use trees that you know that they provide shades. Indoors, we also have a farm and compost area where we use environmental education and water place areas for sensory. So, I mean, playing outside, we do it all the time. If you have garden at home, or if you have flowers at home, or if you have like a sand pit at home, or if you're growing vegetables or anything at home, you know, you could always let your child investigate. Or sometimes, for instance, when we come out, we see my children will be wanting to check about the flowers and why the butterfly is there. And we talk about other insects, while they're helpful, you know, in the world, and what, especially bees, why bees are so important and how they make honeys and stuff like that, which helps them investigate really about natural world. Anybody want to ask me anything? Okay, let's go to the second one, opportunities for children to have challenges. Wow, that one is the most difficult one that many people tend to overlook, because we tend to look at children and thinking, oh, they should know all what I know. No, they're just kids. So we have to treat them as kids. So for example, activities and equipment needs to be challenging, but not too hard, not too hard. So teachers, practitioners need to observe the children's capabilities in order to help them develop their skills. Challenges needs to be set both indoors and outdoors. For example, indoors, we help children how to use the computer programs. And outdoors, we help the children how to use a digital camera. So that will really help them, you know, to know, you know, most of the kids these days at that age, they don't know how to use the computer, but after 5, they're very good at it, very good. I bet you know what I'm talking about. So we always have to make sure that we give them something challenging. If we give them something that is too easy, they just get bored. And too hard, they don't want to know, they just give up easily. So something just moderate in the middle as they are children. Okay, anything else? Anybody wants to ask me a question? Okay, we go to the third one. Opportunities for children to be independent and make choices. Wow, that's another one. That's another very important one. Children should be able to go and select the equipments and resources for themselves. So they need to be within their reach. This will lead them to be able to be independent. In my setting, toys are normally kept in boxes, clearly labeled, whatever is in there, so that they could see it visually. Also, those that are less able and give their own timeline with section of pictures that they can choose from in order to help if they needed assistance. For example, a child with Down syndrome may struggle to communicate or go over to their special wall and choose a picture, Lego or snack. So with everything labeled for them, it will help them to let the practitioner know what he or she wants to do next by just going over, because everything is labeled nicely and clearly, and then help them to be independent and make the choices. Even though they can't communicate, but they're doing it in action, like being independent, pick that and come to you and give it to you like, oh, this is what I want to do. So you could read and follow the instinct. Does anybody want to ask me any question? Anything, sisters and brothers? Okay. So we go to opportunities to play in range of ways and have a range of experience. It is very important to have different type of range and experience during play. Because if you do one thing over and over and over again, they get bored. For instance, in my settings, I have this, it's not like weekly resources that we do every week. Like when I go first thing in the morning, me and my team will be like setting tables, different kind of tables with different kind of experience. One will be like Lego, the other one will be like Play-Doh, and the other one will be puzzles, and the other one will be knitting, and different types of ways and range of experience that they will receive during that day. And it changes every day. Basically, it's like up to week six, because every week we close school every 6 weeks. So every day we go, we change the settings. If we go to the class, we change, take all the tables, move them around. This is maths, this is English, this is sensory, this is a fine motor skill, this is gross motor skill, or we have the slides and everything. So every day we change it. Then when they finish in the afternoon, we take out all the chairs, all the tables, put it on the like a very big area where we stack it together. And the following day, we come out with another thing to be very interesting, like a carpet time, story time, or dancing time, you know. Give them everything they come. We always give them something unexpected. So they're really happy. Sometimes in the beginning, when they start school, they don't want to leave their moms because of that bond and attachment. Then all of a sudden, once they get used to you, they don't want to go home. I'm like, this is so nice. I'm beginning to enjoy it. In the beginning, it's hard because it's crying. And after, all of a sudden, wow, they don't want to go home. The time goes so quickly. Yeah. Anybody wants to ask me any question? We have the last one of the characteristics of playing and enabling the environment. That is opportunity for children to socialize and communicate. It's very, 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 very important to try and make sure that the children able to socialize and communicate, because without it, it's really, really difficult to know. That's the one. Okay. Without it, it's very difficult to know. Sorry, I've just been not putting down my slides. Without it, it's very difficult for children to able to learn and play properly. For instance, in my area, we have cozy area where children can just rest and communicate with things such as books, or sit in the book corner or in the home corner just to relax. Because some children, they are not morning person, especially during the winter time. They just come to school and they just want to be left alone. And sometimes they don't warm up until around 10, 11. So they just lie down there. You just, watch them, the feeling they are in, and just let them be. Give them a book, give them a pillow just to relax. Then after a while, they will just start, boom, the energy is up, start socializing and start communicating and expressing their ideas to their friends. And outside, it is also another area that we can put cushion area or a temporary den in where they could sit and rest, especially during the summer or the dry season. We can put blanket, cushion, and everything in the home corner, in the book corner, and art making tools or chalks to let them express themselves and draw and do whatever they want. All those things help them to communicate and socialize, which helps a lot. Sometimes children come to the classroom, and probably this is their first time to go to a garage with their dad or something. Oh my God, it's like, oh my God, I've been into a garage. And then everybody will be talking about garage. What is the garage? What is this? What is that? And then that will even show you that they have this interest in garages. So all you do is try and find a home corner and make a garages and stuff like that, and get these pens and pencils or crayons to be their tools, and they start talking about their experiences of garages and what they do and whatnot. So I mean, it is really, really interesting when you watch them socialize and communicate. I'm wow, they really, really improving since the first time they start these classes. Does anybody want to ask me any questions? If you do, please, my brothers and sisters, do ask me.
No, I think you can carry on.
And we can carry on. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Whenever we talk about enabling play environments, we need to think about meeting the age, the needs of the children. Early years practitioners, in order to meet those things that I've just mentioned, the environment, the age, and the needs, the early years practitioner at observation, equipment and resources, challenges, promote all areas of development, free choices, age-appropriate size equipment should be taken into great consideration, because without it, if one is missing, it will be very difficult to enable play in an environment. So, shall we look into the early years practitioner? Okay. Enabling indoors and outdoors play environment as an early years practitioner. Every time when we think about the early years practitioner, like the teacher who teaches the children, supposed to guide and support the children in their care. For instance, in my settings, I have about 5 children. that those children, I create a bond with them. It's like I'm their safe base. I'm their second mother. So when their mom is not there, I always, you know, they always can rely to me and come to me if they have their problems. You know, enabling the environment as an early years is that you yourself guide and support the children in your care. Another things we do to enable this is that we observe their interests and needs when we're doing our observations and our next step planning. And by doing that, we're identifying how to provide an enable environment inside and outside for that child. For example, a child always take an interest, like in a baby room. Let's say a child A always take an interest in the baby room. He walks past, so you can plan for him to go and visit and play with the babies for a while because he is showing interest in that area. It might be because he's having a brother or sister, or might or might have you know, the mom might be pregnant, expecting a baby, and they can spend some time in there so that it is an interest of theirs when the baby comes to help them. Or another example is like a child B is wanted to climb higher on a monkey bar. Every time they try to climb up, and they get stuck. So they need us to scaffold them in order to help them climb the ladder or climb the monkey bar. So in that stage, we can just try to, the practitioner should try and help and support that child to achieve that by really supporting, observing his interests and needs, thinking about how to match the environment to those needs. So in a child, in the case of a child A, is enabling him to go to the baby room, and child B adapting the environment and making sure that it meets those interests and needs in order for him or her to climb the monkey bar. So the next one is providing equipment and resources. Okay, this one is another critical one that we need to always follow. If we don't, learning will never take place. The environment needs to be able to the equipment and the resources need to be that are provided should be very, very child appropriate, height appropriate, and easy to use, not very difficult. For instance, if we have a for instance, if we have a 2-year-old and then you want them to play jigsaw, are you gonna go and buy the 50 pieces, or are you gonna go and buy the 5 pieces or the 4 pieces? Because if you buy the 50 pieces, they will not have a clue how to fix it. You know, you could buy a very simple one that, you know, like an animal, you know, like a puzzle, a wooden one, so that they could just fix it. Even 4 puzzle will be okay for them to use. But in the case of the 3 years old or the 5 years old, you need to get a puzzle that is a bit challenging, like maybe 15 puzzles that they could use in order to able to expand their knowledge and learn more. It is also important that we have an appropriate size, a child size equipment. If we if we do not think about the equipment and resources we provide and making sure that these are appropriate and safe, so this would include basic things like health and safety. On the trees, having things to do or use should not have loose items or objects on them or small pieces on them because it could make them choke. So it is very vital to make sure that when we are looking at child appropriate size and child appropriate equipment, we make sure that we follow the rules of the health and safety and make sure that the equipment enable the child to able to learn. For example, when they have chairs, they should be like child appropriate chairs, not like an adult chair, so that they could sit. Tables should be the same. When they go in their toilet and everything should be child appropriate. And they should always have free choices. You know, if we don't give children free choices, they will never be able to be independent, never. There is a number of ways in which both inside and outside play environment can meet the stages, ages, and needs of the children. In a nutshell, if you think about all the equipment we use in our setting or our house that we provide, everything should be age appropriate, safer for children to use so that it is not having small items under the age of 3, for example. If we use soft furnishing things like teddy bears with under the trees, you need to make sure that you pull out all the force, and if anything comes out, then it is not safe for the child on the tree, because a teddy bear should be all soft, not having force coming out, because they tend to put everything in their mouth, which can choke them. So it's always very important to make sure that when we letting kids to play, they have, you know, all the requirement, health and safety, to enable them to learn and develop. Any questions? Ladies and gentlemen, my brothers? Anything? Anybody want to ask me anything? Okay, if that's the case, shall I ask a question then? So, for instance, if you have a child who is just like a toddler, and then you're having a dinner, where would you put that child on the dinner table? Will you put the child on the adult chair, or would you put the child on a high chair and strap the child, or would you just hold the child on your lap whilst eating?
We have to put on, I think, on the child seat with the strap on it.
That's a very good idea. That's it, because if you hold the child and eat, you might drop her or him if you're not concentrating. And if you left the child to sit on the chair, he is not very stern to stay there for long. He might drop or fall. As he's a toddler, he's not aware of danger yet. You know, so so the best bet is to always strap them, put them in a high chair, and let them enjoy their meal. Anybody want to ask me anything?
Can you go to the previous slide? Can you go to the previous slide?
One earliest.
Yeah, this one. Yes, this one. So we have got like first we are earlier practitioners. Then the most important thing is the observation.
Yes.
Isn't it? the observation which we are doing. So what observations we are putting, like how many types of observation? Is there any types of observation, or
there are different types of observation. Observation is the main key of an early years practitioner. You have this one that is called the time sample. The time sample is the one that you normally observe the child in like every 5 minutes. You just look at the child, what he's doing, how he's communicating, and then jot it down. Okay. Oh, the child A came to class today, you know, was happy, but really had a fight with child B because child B snapped his toys away from him. But then child A did ask nicely, or child A pulled this one, or fight back, or throw. And that is the time sample. Every time you watch the child and you write it down, that's the child sample. There is another one called the narrative one. The narrative one is just like you start looking at the child, you know, watching him, what he's doing, what he's saying, what he's writing, and everything until you get all the information that you wanted to get. And the following day you could do that. For instance, for me, in my settings, all I do is like I have a notepad, like just dot the information. Sometimes some things really happen, you know, and say a child said, use a word, amazing, or something that you don't expect him to do, or their first work, like in the baby area, like they make their first steps, and the parent don't even know that their child begin to walk. So you just write it down. So when you hand in over the parents what's happened in the day, you could always tell them that, don't tell them that, oh, your child have taken their first steps. No, you just tell them that I think he's about to start walking soon, because parents, they all want to be like the first person to witness their child taking a first step. Even if you witness it, don't spoil that moment for them. Just tell them they might walk. During my observation today, this is what happened, they might walk. So, I mean, that one is called the narrative. You have time sample, narrative, and lots of different types. If you want to go to observation itself is a whole topic. Observation itself, if you want to go into observation, we will never, if you want, I could do a plan for next training to do only observation. Okay. So you will enjoy that, because observation is a big one, because without observation, we will not able to help the child, whether they improve, whether they don't improve. And sometimes we tend to ignore, like some kids, they just slip in the crack because we don't know that they are gifted and talented. But through observation, we will be like, oh my God, that child is gifted. Why? How did you know it? Because you keep observing him, the things he do, the things he said, and he is way above the early years curriculum. Probably he's in key stage 1. So those kind of child, if we don't observe properly, they might slip in the crack and they will lose lots of opportunity. Instead of giving them challenging stuff, we just keep letting them with their own pace to learn at their own space. No, we have to make sure that we observe every individual child and make sure that they're not missing out anything, and make sure that we follow that observation and follow their next step and help them out. If we do an exam, for instance, I have a child who is called Ama, and he's 4 years old. He had a special need, autism. So that child, he just play with cars and everything. Even though I know and the school know that the child have a special need, but the parents are on denial. So we don't know what to do with the parents, but we know that we're trying our best to try and get the professional involved, to get everybody involved, to help. Every time we keep doing observation upon observation upon observation. But all our observations show us that the child needs a special needs school, needs to be supported. But sometimes it's different for parents, because they always think that, there is their child is normal, it's okay. But I mean, take it from me, I know about kids with a special needs school. Everybody is special. So through observation, we learn a lot about a child. And then when they are not reaching their target as well, through observation, we will know, and we will try and help them reach their target, and work in partnership with parents to tell them how to help the child reach their target at home and in the settings. So, I mean, with observation, that is a different ball game and a different topic. It's a whole new topic, observation. So if anybody is staying on or registered with the course, hopefully my next one, you give me a topic now, I will do observation as early years practitioners.
That is the most important topic.
Yeah, it's the most important topic, because we have, when I was doing my teaching exam, we have this observation called the longitudinal studies. You have to follow a child for like 5 weeks every day to see their pros and cons, what they can do, what they can't do. So we have to do that, and that is very intense. That one, when you do it, you have to take the permission from the parents and everything, because it's a different ball game compared to the normal observation that parents signed and said that they're happy for you to use their kids to check whether they emerging or whether they are not emerging, or whether they are just, below average, above average, and everything. The longitudinal studies, wow, I love that one. It was hard, but I do love it, because you go deep into the observation and the method of observation, and what you have to plan for the next step, whether it's challenging or is it too challenging, how you did it, and what were the benefits, and how will you do the transition for the child to go to year 1 with their school? What are you going to tell the new school about the child, and what the pros and cons, and how can they settle in this key stage 1? So, I mean, observation, I love it.
Cheers. Thank you very much, Fatima. I think it's time to conclude. So can you just conclude, and we are
It's Huma, do you want to ask something, question, Huma?
No, ma'am.
Oh, how was it? How was the presentation?
Awesome.
Did you like it?
Yes.
Well,
I like it.
Huma, try and join me next time, and then I will tell you all about the observation.
Okay,
all of you try and join me.
Inshallah, ma'am, inshallah.
Inshallah. Are you a teacher or a parent?
Yes, I am a teacher and also parent.
Mashallah. You're doing a great job. I am so happy for all of you to join my a training course today, and I would love to see you again, hopefully soon.
Okay.
So if you want to register, talk to my boss.
To conclude this workshop now. So thank you very much, Fatma.
Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz.